Hey there and welcome to Scandal Steep. In the small town of Dolton, Illinois, a political drama is unfolding that feels like a page torn out of a crime novel. At the center of the chaos stands City Hall leader Tiffany Henyard, whose recent actions have not only raised eyebrows but also stirred up significant controversy. Her former ally, Carmen Carlile, once a close confidant and trusted advisor, has now become her biggest threat. Allegations of corruption, backdoor deals, and even violent retaliation have surfaced, turning what was once political rivalry into something much more dangerous. It all began with the once unshakable relationship between Henyard and Carlile, two women who seemed inseparable as they navigated the murky waters of small-town politics. But somewhere along the way, their bond deteriorated, and Carlile made a bold decision to switch sides. Whether motivated by fear, a change of heart, or a survival instinct, Carlile began revealing the dark secrets she had helped Henyard bury over the years. Carmen Carlile was no ordinary whistleblower. As someone who had been deeply involved in the inner workings of Dolton's City Hall, she knew where all the proverbial bodies were buried. After working closely with Henyard for years, Carlile was well aware of the financial manipulations and questionable decisions that were made behind closed doors. But the moment she decided to go public with this information, her life took a drastic turn for the worse. Rumors swirled that Henyard, desperate to protect her position and reputation, might have been involved in a sinister plot to silence Carlile permanently. According to reports, Carlile's home was attacked, with shots fired in what seemed like a deliberate attempt to scare or possibly eliminate her. Though she survived the attack, the event left her deeply shaken and fearful for her life. This escalation of violence raised a critical question: how did things spiral so far out of control? What made Carlile such a dangerous target that Henyard, the mayor of a relatively small town, would risk everything to shut her up? To understand the intensity of this feud, one must look at the history between these two women and the circumstances that led them to this point. Once partners in crime, figuratively speaking, Henyard and Carlile worked together to manage Dolton's finances. However, recent reports suggest that their management was far from ethical. According to sources, they were involved in redirecting city funds for personal gain, engaging in corrupt practices that severely impacted Dolton's financial health. But while they enjoyed the fruits of their schemes for a time, Carlile eventually decided to flip, providing investigators with evidence of the alleged corruption. Some speculate that Carlile's decision wasn't born out of a desire for justice but rather a calculated move to save herself from potential jail time. As one observer put it, the line between a whistleblower and a snitch can often be blurred. While a whistleblower typically comes forward to expose wrongdoing for the greater good, a snitch usually acts to cut a deal with the authorities and avoid punishment. Carlile's motives have been called into question, with critics suggesting that she only turned on Henyard to protect her own interests. Regardless of her reasons, Carlile's actions have put Henyard in a precarious position. With federal investigators closing in, Carlile handed over key documents, emails, and records that paint a damning picture of Henyard's time in office. This evidence has sparked a federal investigation into Henyard's alleged misuse of city funds, and it's clear that things are starting to unravel for Dolton's embattled mayor. The financial situation in Dolton has deteriorated rapidly under Henyard's watch. Once a town with a modest budget surplus, Dolton now faces a $3.65 million deficit. The cause of this drastic downturn, according to sources, is Henyard's reckless spending. Reports indicate that Henyard used city funds to finance extravagant personal expenses, including high-end flights, luxurious hotels, and even lavish meals. One particularly egregious expenditure involved a $43,000 shopping spree on Amazon in a single day, with more funds spent at stores like Target and Walgreens. As if this weren't enough, Henyard also allegedly used public funds to support a personal security detail that rivaled those of big city mayors. Former Dolton Police Chief Robert Collins spoke out against this misuse of resources, claiming that officers were being diverted from critical duties like fighting crime to provide security for Henyard. In a town already plagued by gang activity and violence, the last thing Dolton needed was a mayor siphoning police resources for personal protection. Despite these mounting accusations, Henyard has denied all wrongdoing, insisting that she is the target of a politically motivated smear campaign. She has refused to cooperate with investigations into her alleged misconduct, blocking efforts to launch a formal inquiry into her use of city funds. Even the hiring of former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who was tasked with leading an independent investigation into Dolton's finances, was met with resistance. However, Lightfoot has vowed to push forward with her investigation, urging Henyard and her administration to fully cooperate. For Carmen Carlile, coming forward has been anything but easy. With the threat of violence hanging over her, Carlile now finds herself fighting for her life. The attack on her home, allegedly carried out by gang members with ties to Henyard, has left many wondering just how far Henyard is willing to go to protect her position. This isn't the first time Henyard has been accused of using violent tactics to silence her critics. In the past, another political opponent of Henyard's was reportedly attacked after publicly criticizing the mayor. Though that individual survived, the incident sent a chilling message to anyone considering standing up to Henyard. As this political drama unfolds, the people of Dolton are left grappling with the fallout. Residents have become increasingly vocal in their demands for Henyard's resignation, calling for justice and accountability. At a recent town hall meeting, one woman confronted Henyard directly, accusing her of being unfit for office and disrespectful to those who dared to disagree with her. "You're not capable of that seat," she shouted, echoing the sentiments of many in the room. The stakes are incredibly high for everyone involved. For Henyard, the challenge is to maintain her grip on power despite the growing evidence against her. For Carlile, the goal is to survive long enough to see justice served. And for the people of Dolton, the hope is that they can reclaim their town from a leader who seems to have taken them on an expensive and dangerous ride. As investigators continue to probe deeper into Dolton's finances and Henyard's connections, new revelations are likely to emerge. The FBI has already been involved, issuing subpoenas for personnel records and business documents as they try to piece together the full scope of the corruption. Some of the requested documents relate to Kay Freeman, a close associate of Henyard who has also been accused of financial misconduct. It remains to be seen how deep this web of corruption goes and who else might be implicated in the scandal. As for Carlile, her fight is far from over. Though still recovering from the recent attack, sources close to her say she is determined to see this through to the end. Some believe that she will continue to provide evidence against Henyard, potentially sealing the mayor's fate. Others, however, remain skeptical, questioning Carlile's true motivations and whether she herself is truly innocent in all of this. With so many unanswered questions, one thing is certain: this story is far from over. As the investigation heats up and more details come to light, all eyes will be on Dolton. Will Henyard finally be held accountable for her actions, or will she manage to wriggle out of this mess as she has so many times before? And what about Carmen Carlile? Will she recover and continue her campaign against corruption, or is this the end of her whistleblowing days? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear: the drama in Dolton is far from finished. The stakes have never been higher, and the final chapter in this political thriller has yet to be written. For now, residents and observers alike will be watching closely, popcorn in hand, as this high-stakes saga continues to unfold.